After the storm, what does your life look like? How do you rebuild when the waters finally recede? Welcome back to my channel, and today we are looking at the 8th chapter of Genesis, the chapter where storm ends and the floodwaters begin to recede. This isn't just a story about survival, it's a story about hope, renewal, and starting over. It teaches us that no matter how long or hard the storm in our lives may be, there is always a chance for a new beginning. Let's explore this together and see how it speaks to our lives today. So, let's read together from the book of Genesis, chapter 8, from verse 1 to the last verse. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters were receded. Now the spring of the deep and the floodgates of heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove couldn't find nowhere to perch because there was water all over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back into himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days, again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on earth and be fruitful and increase in number on it." So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his son's wife, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground, and all the birds, everything that moves on land, come out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar for the Lord, in taking some of the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offering on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from the childhood, and never again will I destroy all creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." After 150 days, God remembers Noah and all who are with him in the ark, and he causes the flood water to start going down. Think about that. 150 days of waiting, wondering when it will all end. Imagine Noah's feeling, stuck in the ark, not knowing what the future holds. Have you ever felt like that? Like you are waiting for something to change, but it feels like it's taking forever. We all have moments when life feels like it's on pause. we are stuck in a situation that seems never ending. But just like with Noah, the storm doesn't last forever. It's in this moment of waiting that we must hold on to faith, trusting that the things we will get better. Remember, God had a plan for Noah, and He has a plan for you too. Noah sends out a dove to see if the water have dried up. At first, the dove returned with nothing, but then it comes back with an olive leaf in its beak. The moment must have been so full of hope for Noah. The olive leaf was a sign that the world outside was beginning to heal. In our lives, we often search for signs that things are getting better. Sometimes we don't see them right away, but that doesn't mean they are not there. Maybe you have been through a tough time and are waiting for a sign that things are improving. Like, no, we need to be patient and trust that those signs will come when the time is right. And when they do, it fills us with renewed hope, just like the olive leaf did for Noah. Finally, after over a year in the ark, Noah and his family stepped out onto dry land. Can you imagine what the moment must have felt like? Fresh air, solid ground under their feet, freedom. But here's the thing, Noah didn't rush out. He waited for God's command. Even though the land was dry, he knew the importance of patience and obedience. How many times do we rush into things without waiting for the right moment? We may feel impatient to move on or start something new, but sometimes for the right timing is key. Noah trusted God's timing and it led him to a new beginning. We can learn from that too, trusting that if we wait on God, He will lead us in the right direction. As soon as Noah leaves the ark, the first thing he does is build an altar and offer sacrifice to God. He didn't just walk away from the storm. He took the time to thank God for bringing him through it and then make a promise never to destroy the earth by flood again, sealing a covenant of hope and restoration. When we come through a difficult time, how often do we stop and reflect on what we have learned? How often do we give thanks for the strength and guidance that carried us through? It's easy to move on without looking back, but gratitude is important. Noah's offering teaches us that we should take time to appreciate the blessing and lesson we receive even from the hardest experience. So this chapter teaches us of hope and new beginning. It shows us that even after the worst storms, there is a chance to rebuild and start afresh. Just like Noah waited for the right moment to step out into his new world, we too can trust that God will guide us to the right time for our new beginnings. I believe this story speaks to our hearts in a moment of doubt or struggle. And I hope we all face storms, but there is always light at the end of them. I want this content to reach anyone who feels stuck or lost, so you can remember that renewal and life and new life are always possible. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's carry this lesson of Genesis with us, knowing that after the storm, there is always a new dawn. Stay tuned for the next chapter as we continue to uncover God's incredible plan for our lives. Thank you for watching.